Hello, hello. This is Newfoundland and Labrador Studies 2205, Unit 1 on Culture, Section 3, Lesson 2 on Culture and Constancy. I'm Miss Fleming, and I'm ready to get started, so let's get going. Before we begin, I'd like for you to contemplate the following quote from a philosopher named Jean-Baptiste Alphonse Carr, and it goes like this. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The reason why I've included this today is because while our world is going through a lot of change, culture is constantly evolving, like we talked about in our last lesson, but there are things that always stay the same no matter what. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Before we move on, I would like to point out this lovely photo of Red Bay. This community is in Labrador. And while I haven't had the chance to visit Red Bay yet, I look forward to in the future. A friend of mine, I was there recently, and she said to me, you have to go. It's such a lovely little spot. So let's talk about the notion of constancy. While we examined change in our last lesson, we also must consider the notion of what's called constancy. This is the quality of being faithful and dependable, enduring and unchanging. While many things have changed in Newfoundland and Labrador over the last 100 years especially, there are many practices and culture traits that remain the same. So, what is it that influences constancy? Well, constancy is influenced by a number of factors, including sociofacts and metafacts. The two largest influences are traditions and religion. So if you recall back to the beginning of the unit, when we talked about sociofacts and metafacts, sociofacts are institutions and organizations that are present within a culture, and metafacts are values that are shared, traditions, thoughts about particular things within a culture. Traditions are a large factor in constancy. They're passed down as part of our heritage from our ancestors. They are linked to values, holidays, observances, religion, and other special events, which all of those things are metafacts. The influence of religion is another factor. Many cultures are influenced by religious beliefs and rituals, which are metafacts, but also religious organizations in their communities, which are sociofacts. Before I move on to the next slide, I wanted to point out this lovely community. This is Rose Blanche, or Rose Blanche. It is on the southwest coast of our island portion of the province, and this photo was taken, I should note, before Hurricane Fiona. When I am recording this, of course, it is about 2 months past when that hurricane occurred, and unfortunately there was a lot of damage to these beautiful homes that are right next to the water due to storm surge. They are rebuilding, and if you're from Rose Blanche, I wish you all the best, and I know that the town has rallied around and will continue to grow. So what else influences constancy? Well, another factor is referred to as geographical intellectual isolation. This concept comes from areas of the world that are not as connected to popular culture, or influenced by transculturation. When a community is geographically isolated, the culture of that area tends to remain constant, as they're not influenced as much by outer sources. This also occurs if people from an isolated area do not leave their area for post-secondary education. So people aren't moving into the area from other cultures, and people aren't leaving to pursue other things such as a different education or career, and then coming back to influence the town either. Now, even though this is the end of this particular presentation, I want for us to pause and reflect because I want you to do this before you do your other activities. I would like for you to complete the change and constancy T-chart in Brightspace. It is done in Google Jamboard, and I want to make sure that I highlight that for you so that you know what to expect. You can use sticky notes. You click on that, and then you're able to type in little sticky notes. You could also type there where it says type your responses very easily inside of those text boxes, whichever you like. The last town I wanted to bring to your attention is Lark Harbour. Lark Harbour is on the west coast of the island portion of the province, and even though it is relatively close to a city in Newfoundland and Labrador, they are not as influenced by outside sources. It's a lovely, beautiful little town. A good friend of mine is from there, so I've visited a number of times. If you're from Lark Harbour, hello. So, let's review. I would like for you to complete the activities in Brightspace and have a wonderful day.